Hi everyone, here's a little video on Minesweeper. We're going to go through a game here on Expert, and I'm going to talk about some of my reasoning as we go through the game. And I'm going to assume that you are already somewhat familiar with Minesweeper, so I'm not going to talk about the really trivial cases like these mines over here. We know that there is a mine in this cell over here because if we look at this 2, and let's assume for a second that there is no mine over here. So pretend there's no mine here. That means that the 2 mines for this 2 have to go here and here and here. And then that contradicts this 1 over here. So that means that our starting assumption that there is no mine here has to be wrong. There must be a mine there. And then moving on, there's no mine over here because, again, let's try to assume the opposite. Let's assume there is a mine over here. That means that we can clear out these 2 cells. And then that means that there's only 1 mine around this 2. That's a contradiction, so that means our starting assumption is wrong, and there's no mine in this cell. Okay. So I'm just moving the game along until we find something interesting to talk about. If I spend too much time on the trivial cases, it's just going to take too long. And besides, there are a lot of other videos out there that you can look at for those kind of techniques. There is a mine in this cell. The way we know that is because we look at this 2 over here. Let's assume that there is no mine in this cell. So that means that 2 mines for this 2 go here and here, but it contradicts this 2 over here because now there's 3 mines around it. That means our starting assumption was wrong. There must be a mine over here. There's no mine over here because let's do the same thing again. Let's assume that there is a mine over here. So if we do that, then that means that there are no mines in these 2 cells, and then that would mean that there's only 2 mines around this 3. That's a contradiction. That means our starting assumption was wrong. There's no mine here. There's no mine in these 2 cells because if we look at this 2, one of its mines is here, and then its second mine is going to be either here or here. It's indicated by this 3 over here. So that means that we can clear out these 2 cells. No mines in these 3 cells because we look at this 2, one of its mines is here, and its second mine is going to be either here or here. We can clear out these 2 cells because looking at this 3, 2 of its mines are here. Its 1 remaining mine is going to be either here or here. It's indicated by this 3 and this 2 over here. So we can clear out these 2 cells around it. And then similarly, we can clear out these 2 cells because the mine that belongs to this 1 is either here or here. We can clear out these 3 cells over here because if we look at this 1 over here, its 1 mine is going to be either here or here, as indicated by this 1. So that means these 3 cells are safe. We can place a mine over here because for this 3, we know that there are 2 mines among these 3 cells, and if we try to assume that there is no mine here, then that means that the 2 mines have to be placed like this. And that contradicts this 2 because now there's 3 mines around it. So therefore our starting assumption is wrong, and there must be a mine over here. There's a mine over here because if we look at this 2 over here, there's 2 mines among these 3 cells, and there's only 1 mine among these 2 cells, so the second mine for this 2 is here. There's a mine over here because look at this 3. One of its mines is here, so there's 2 mines remaining among these 3 cells, but there can be only 1 mine among these 2 cells. So therefore we can't place the mines like this, and that means that one of the mines that belongs to this 3 has to be over here. I'm going to clear out this cell over here because the mine that belongs to this 3 is either here or here, and that's going to fulfill this 2, and therefore this cell is safe. Okay, it seems like there's no obvious way to get into this area over here, so we're going to leave it alone for now, and we'll come back to it later. The reason I do that, by the way, is because sometimes if there's an area that you can't get into, you can try to clear out the rest of the board, and then sometimes the number of mines that remain might help you get into this area. So we'll see if that happens. There's no mine over here because this 3 is going to be fulfilled by a mine here or here. No mines in these 3 because the mine that belongs to this 1 is either here or here. Okay, so there's a mine over here because if we look at this 2 over here, there's 2 mines among these 3 cells, but there can be only 1 mine among these 2 cells. So therefore, there must be a mine over here. And then we can argue that there's no mine over here, because you look at this 1 over here and its mine is going to be either here or here. It's indicated by this 2. So there can be no mine over here. There's a mine over here because we look at this 3, one of its mines is here, and then that means that there's 2 mines remaining among these 3 cells. But there can be only 1 mine among these 2 cells because of this 1 over here. So that means that there must be a mine in this cell. And then there's no mine in this cell because this 1 over here is going to be fulfilled by having a mine here or here, indicated by this 3. So this cell is safe. Okay, I can argue that there's no mine over here. The reason for that is because we know that there's a mine here or here. We don't know which cell, but there's a mine here. So that means there's only 1 mine remaining among these 3 cells. But, so there's 1 mine remaining among these 3 cells, and there's a 2 over here. So no matter how I arrange the 2 mines for this cell, it's like either like this, or like this, or like this. In all 3 of those cases, one of the mines of this 2 is going to be counting towards this 2. So basically, one of its mines is over here, and another of its mines is going to be over here. It has to be, and that means this cell is safe. And then we can argue that there's a mine over here, because we know that we look at this 2 over here. We know that one of its mines is here, and one of its mines is here. And then that means that the remaining mine for this 2 has to be over here. We can argue that there is a mine over here. We look at this 4. We know that there's 2 mines remaining around it. So we look at this 2. There can be only 1 mine among these 2 cells. So that means that the last mine for this 4 has to be over here. There's no mine over here because this 3, we found 2 of its mines. Its last remaining mine is going to be either here or here, indicated by this 4. So this cell is safe. Okay. So unfortunately now we're in a situation where we don't really have any safe clicks to make. So I'm just gonna try to click randomly and hopefully we don't die. But okay, first I'm gonna try to really make sure that there's nothing we can do before we do that. Okay, oh well. So let's just try to click here randomly. Okay. Well, that's not helping. Yeah, I mean, sometimes Minesweeper just comes down to luck and there's nothing you can do about it. It's unfortunate. But that's the way the game is. Okay, so over here now. We know that there are 6 mines remaining. Let's see if we can use that to our advantage. There's 1 mine among these 2 cells, so that accounts for 1. 1 among these 2, so that's 2. 3. 4. Okay. So we've accounted for 4 mines, and that means that there's 2 remaining in the interior cells. Yeah. Let's try to click here randomly. I mean, yeah, that's all we can do really at this point. I mean, I got lucky now twice or 3 times already, but yeah, I guess I got really lucky. Here we go. There's no mine in this cell because this 3 is its last mine is going to be either here or here, indicated by this 2. So we can click here. And now I believe we're, oh no, we're good. Okay, so there you go. The game's over. So I hope you got something out of that. It's a few techniques that commonly get used in Minesweeper. If I went too fast or if anything was unclear, please post a comment in the section below. I'll be happy to answer your questions. And thank you for watching.